Hi, my name is Morten, and in this video we will be talking about catalogs in Ucommerce. Here you will see what catalogs do and how you maintain them in the back office. Catalogs can be accessed via the navigation tree to the left. When you click on the Catalogs app, you will be presented with what we call the catalog builder, as well as the ability to edit each of the catalogs you have. A catalog is assigned under a store, and you can have one or more catalogs under each store. The first responsibility of a catalog is to maintain category structure, which is basically an infinite deep structure of categories where you can then place products. So a catalog is a great way to separate individual category structures in case you need to have a web shop that supports different types of categories and category structures. And then you also assign pricing to a catalog. So it's the catalog that will determine what prices your visitor sees when they arrive at your web shop. So let's take a look at the pricing. Pricing in Ucommerce is determined by a concept called price group that we will be talking about more about in another video. Besides that, what you can do is you can set a default price group on a catalog, which determines the price in currency and VAT that the user sees, and then you assign prices to the individual products based on that. So we have a concept called a default price group on a catalog, which allows you to determine what are the prices that my visitors see when they arrive in the web shop for the first time. So right now my catalog is configured to be Danish kroners with 25% VAT, which means that when I visit my web shop and I haven't done anything, all I see are products with pricing in Danish kroners. But should I wish to change that behavior, I can do that. Now my default price group is euros, which means that when I refresh my page again, then all products and prices you see will be in euros. But it doesn't stop here, because we also have something called allowed price groups on a catalog, which allows you to set up what are the allowed price groups I can change into on this catalog. It gives you an extra security level in terms of pricing, which is a rather core part of a commerce platform. What it means is that when I see prices in a default price group, for example, if I log in as a B2B user, I may want to see prices without VAT, or I may also have different pricing groups based on who is actually purchasing products on my store. So if we determine that he needs a special price point, then we can use the APIs of Ucommerce to change into one of the other allowed price groups on my catalog. So for example, if I log in as a B2B user, I may see the same currency, but prices will now be shown without VAT instead. So that's the pricing part of your catalogs. In addition to this, a catalog will allow you to set up the individual categories that we have. So the first thing that I can do is, of course, create a new catalog all from scratch if I want to do that. A catalog is also based on a definition, which is another concept we will cover in another video. So once I create my catalogs, I will now get the ability to create a category structure that makes sense for this catalog. Catalogs is always maintained per store. So if I have a multi-store solution, I can change into to one of the other stores and then start to maintain catalogs for that store. This one is empty right now, but I can now start to fill in the blanks if I needed to. But here for my new created catalog, which is always the first column in the builder, I can now start to create new categories and give my structure whatever I need. So maybe I want some shoes in here. I may also want some shirts, and so on and so forth. So now my catalog is set up with 2 categories, and I can now start to assign products to that catalog. The neat thing about a catalog is that it will be automatically resolved via the APIs, and the pricing will be adhered to this. So this means that whatever my catalog says the price points are, that is what Ucommerce will follow. So even though a product may be able to exist across multiple catalogs, it will be the same product, but the pricing may be different depending on what catalog I visit. Of course, catalogs can also have additional metadata like we saw in the definitions, which means that I may even have a multi-channel and multi-language setup, which means that I can, of course, maintain the data in multiple languages. Not all properties are based on a language, but if you have something that needs to be translated in multiple languages, then you can use the language drop down here to change into the correct language that you need. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.